I don't know if that's gonna cut it. 120 pounds. I wonder. Let's see. Haha. That's more like it. Well, what's up everyone? Welcome back to our lawn. Thank you for humoring me with that somewhat ridiculous and kind of cliche little introduction there. But it is summertime, which means we got to put down some sort of slow release fertilizer application. Also, I'm about a week out from a party that family's coming over, so I want to get some fertilizer down, get everything looking as green and as good as we can. So I'm still going the Milorganite route. One, I'm from Wisconsin, so it's cheap. Two, I need all the nutrients, and a lot of the other stuff doesn't come with phosphorus. This is a good way for me to get phosphorus down. It's a good, safe way also to try out that guy right there. So as you can see, there is a sizable difference between the old Scott's spreader that's been serving me well to this point, but I think that's like a 35, maybe 40 pound hopper, versus this Agri-Fab, which says it's a 130 pound hopper, which we are going to test with 128 pounds of Milorganite. So with that, let's see what this looks like when we get some fertilizer in there. There's 1, 2, 3.5. So it's 3.5 bags. I probably could sneak the 4th in there, really mound it up, but that feels risky and like a really bad idea. So I'm not gonna do that. It's already probably a little fuller than they would definitely recommend, but that was an experiment, and now we're gonna experiment on how well we can spread with it that full. I looked a little bit at the spreader setting and where it should be, and I took a guess. This is, let's see, what, 96 and 16, 102 and 10, 112 pounds of product. So that'd be like right on 10 pounds per the 1,000 square feet that I'm treating. So milo right now is going on everything: backyard, side yards, the section that was seeded last year, the section that is currently growing in, seeded right now, as well as yard which shall not be named, as the summer fertilizer for all of the above. So I'm gonna give it heck here, see what happens, see how close we are, and I'll get back with some kind of first impressions on how it worked and how well you can push this thing around with 100 plus pounds of fertilizer in it. There's the trim pass done. I can confirm that's gonna be heavy to push uphill. Maybe won't do that on the front when we have to do full ferts, but we'll fight through. And there we go. That was about 112 pounds of Milorganite across just under 12,000 square feet, all in one hopper. Couple passes, had to learn, wasn't open far enough, but hey, that's the part of learning a new spreader. You gotta err on the side of caution, open it up a little bit, go over a couple times, make sure you get the right amount of product down evenly over all of your square footage, and it felt good. So I'll kind of go through my first impressions on assembly and first use of the spreader and how it's working, and just kind of give you my initial thoughts on it. So just kind of to wrap up my thoughts on my first impressions of the spreader, talk a little bit about assembly. Was let's say maybe 6 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. Granted, again, I'm not a supremely handy individual, but this comes in quite a few parts, and if you would have seen from the beginning of the video, there was loose parts that maybe this was a return, and they had to put those couple additional parts that were missing into the box loose. So I actually had to go through and, there are bolts of different lengths, and actually measure them and figure out which one is which length. But the instructions were pretty clear, and everything fit together as it was supposed to. So tricky, kind of tedious, but not an absolute like IKEA level nightmare. Operationally, obviously you saw Milorganite's not dense enough to get to the 130 pound capacity that it says it has, but I did have 112 pounds in there. Also to that point, I've had 30 or 40 pounds of product in my old Scott's spreader, and that was not easy to push. This at 100 plus pounds, I was able to turn and get it up the hill. Granted, it was heavy, but the tires are pretty sizable, and having that pneumatic tire, everything kind of smooths out and it works really well. The mechanism for opening and closing, I didn't really have any issue with that. That was the big thing why I wanted to replace my spreader, is the mechanism would get some fertilizer granules lodged in there on my Scott's, and then it would lock open, and that's just a problem, where here you are actually using your own force to kind of close that handle. I never had any mishaps with leaving it open or anything like that. It worked really smoothly. So all in all, I'm pleased with the purchase. I have never been in the presence of a spiker or Lesco spreader, but I see this as a good budget competitor to that. So it was on special on Amazon when I got it, and I think everywhere, actually, anywhere you can get it. And I got it for $160. Now, that's a lot for a spreader, I understand. But when you're talking about this kind of being that maybe prosumer is probably the best explanation for it, where it's a little bit more than your, you know, bargain plastic spreader that you're gonna get at Home Depot, but it's not into that like Spiker, Lesco, maybe even Earthway is in that discussion, I don't know. But it's trying to compete with that, and from my impression based on what I've used, which is just the smaller Scots, this is a huge upgrade, and I'm excited to start using this, especially as the amount of square footage that I'm treating expands. You know, I'm going to start being into where I got to put down 100 pounds of Carbon X, 150 pounds of X Green once I start, you know, treating, instead of the like 8,000 square feet now, or 12-ish thousand if you count the side yard for when I'm doing stuff over there, upwards of, I have as much as 24,000 square feet that I could potentially have grass on. So I needed the upgrade. It was time to upgrade, and I'm glad I did so far. Now, can I recommend it? I don't know. I've used it one time, and I've owned it for 2 weeks. So, or a week even, not even, like a week. So this is not a review. This is just my first impressions, but I can say that my first impressions of it are good. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, click the like button. If you have some comments or questions that maybe I can answer, leave those in the comments section below. And I'll do my best to get back to those. And subscribe to the channel, and maybe at some point I'll do a proper review after I've used this thing a few times and seen how well it's holding up. So with that, thanks for watching. See you next time.